Okay, now we've been joined by Steve Hill, 83 grad from Jefferson. I would imagine it's been a long time since you guys have seen each other, but
probably 83.
Yeah.
so
We're never 83.
Yeah, so Steve played 81, 82, and 83. Made the state tournament in 81. They lost that first game against Anoka, moved into the consolation. Big part of the 82 state championship team here for Jefferson, starting big man there for the Jags, and then. Of course, 83 was your senior year playing against the Edina guys. So, Steve, let's go back to that first regular season game here. End of January, you guys are undefeated, like 11-0, second-ranked team in the state. Now you're a senior.
Yeah, and it carries over from the year prior, I believe. So we had a lot riding on
Yeah, like
that.
a 37-game winning streak.
And you come up against Edina, a team you had battled against a lot growing up in youth basketball. They were 10-0, fifth-ranked team in the state. I mean, it was...
And a similar team, really.
Right.
I mean, I thought a similar team. I mean, we weren't the standouts like programs have today, you know what I mean? You're kind of like, yeah, you're good, but it wasn't like these guys are all going D1 someplace, you know? And so it was kind of the workers' battle of how's this all going to come out, because we're all pretty even in that respect, you know, a lot of backgrounds that were similar and all that, so.
Yeah.
Right. So that game against Edina here at Jefferson, January of 83, probably, I mean, the biggest crowd they've ever had in this gym, I think, in the history of this school was that night.
Really?
They pulled out the end bleachers. I think they shut the doors. People hanging on the balcony here.
I saw no ticket money from that.
Yeah,
How about you guys? I saw nothing from that.
Amateur sports. Yeah.
So Steve, what are your memories from that game that night? You guys end the long winning streak that had started the year before with your junior year state championship season. And you play these guys the following season. What are your memories of that game against Edina?
Well, I don't know if I have as many specific memories because I think the Alzheimer's is creeping in on me a little bit. But I do remember the time frame of carrying the winning streak forward and thinking, well, that winning streak's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you think, this is pretty good. But I was always worried about these guys because you played against them at all these other camps, you know, and I thought, man, these guys are pretty good. And good in the way we play, which can be a problem. A lot of people would underestimate us on probably both teams, and they always fell into your strength. You know, they always wanted to try have a hot player beat you, and we didn't lose to hot players. You know what I mean? The defense was always good. So I thought, man, these guys are really similar to us. So it always ended up coming down to that same thing. And we just started coming out on the short end of the stick right there, and I thought, oh, going into the second game and all that, moving on, you think, well, this is all going to correct itself, and it's like, doggone it. I thought by the third game, we got this made. Just by the odds, we got this. And, you know, but.
So I read a quote by you because I've been going, kind of getting ready for this interview today.
Oh, that's one up on me.
Yeah. And you said, and I just told these guys this 20 minutes ago, how when you were a sophomore at Jefferson playing on the JV team, that was the first time you had beaten the Edina basketball team through all those youth years.
All the traveling years.
The traveling years.
Yeah.
That's true, huh?
Yeah. I believe, as far as I can recall, it was, yeah.
And you guys played these guys a lot growing up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the history. That's why I say I have pretty fond memories of it because you think, well, we haven't seen each other in a long time, but you still almost know of each other. It truly was in those days like the friendly rivalry, you know, where you really know these guys.
Except for the fan standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. So you kind of were friends a bit, you know, professional friends, if that's professional in those years.
Yes.
So you didn't wish anybody poor, but you're like, oh, I want to beat them. Just kind of like you would be, you know, friends now or whatever. But so, yeah, they were always, it's almost like you could interchange guys that way, too, a little bit and still have a good program, you know, a good team. Because we were always just right there all the time. But, yeah.
Any specific memories from the game, the regular season game here at Jefferson? Pack house?
Not really. I mean, I don't recall that well. Heck, I can't remember my golf score from the prior hole, so you're going to have to give me a break here.
That's a good thing,
Yeah. Yeah, what'd you get? Oh, par.
Yeah, par.
Well, I can bring up maybe one memory for you. We were talking about with Rick and Rob was when Ray Branch got a steal on the sideline, and he came down and he made this dipsy-do layup.
That was in the paper, I believe,
yeah.
this dipsy-do layup
yeah.
thing, right?
And that was probably the loudest I've ever heard the gym.
Yeah.
Or a gym. That was a big roar. But
yeah, I do remember it being like a big stage. You know, I mean, you're still so young, especially looking back on it now, and it's like But at the time, it's your first real chance at fame, where you're like, you feel like you're the guy. This is really all about you. Literally, what a little piece of the, gears you are. But at the time, you're thinking, boy, it just doesn't get any better. You're waiting to get on varsity, and you're waiting for this type of game, and here it is. And so it's pretty neat. I mean, it does stay with you. The emotion stays with you of the success and what it's like to play in those games. Thus, I guess that's why we try to stay with it. A lot of people, you stay with it because of that feeling that it gets. And so if you've had some success, you tend to continue on that path to try and make that work again. But no, I do remember the feelings of it, not as much specifically, each event and all that.
Right. How about later in the season, last game of the regular season, you guys play at Edina. They beat you guys by 10, 12, something like that to kind of end the season.
Yeah.
And you got regions after that. But anything that you can recall from that game at Edina?
Well, unfortunately, not a whole lot. You need to give me some cliff notes here. But no, not specifically. I mean, it kind of all runs into one, other than, like I say, the game that you're working up to and all that. But, some of the stuff you remember is the teammates. That senior year changed the dynamics, when Lincoln closed, which was probably a big factor for a lot of the players and a lot of things that went on. So I think if we would have played another couple of years, those games are affected by this. But the idea of the one school when Lincoln closed, it's like putting together an all-star team today. You might have all the best players, but unless you've worked together and be a team, it doesn't take you anywhere. And that's kind of a little bit of maybe what happened to us. We had really good players. You can't take anything away from each individual, but we were still struggling with who's going to play what role, who's going to be that guy. And you only sort that out in time and coaching and opportunities to see how that works. And when it closed, we're kind of thrust into this, you're one team now, and you've got the talent, but I'm not sure we were able to make it work in enough time to play these guys.
Right.
So I think that was a big factor in that.
How about the regional final game? The shot, many memories.
Heard around the metropolitan area.
Right.
No, that was big. I really, really thought we were going to win, and it truly was. Sounds corny, but the odds. I thought to beat us 3 times in a row, that's tough to do. Even if you're a better team, that's still tough to do.
Absolutely.
By any standard now. Because one team's going to let down, and we've done this before. You watch it in your youth sports, and you think, there's no way you should lose to that team, but you did. And so I thought, man, I was really optimistic. I remember this feeling of, this is it. We've done our homework. We're going to make this work. We've got more games under our belt. And I thought we had it. And then you go up against them, and sure enough, it's tough again. It's not developing like you think. You're not putting these guys down 8, 10, 12 points. It just keeps always hanging in there, always hanging in there. So it was like, ooh. So maybe I underestimated them. I'm thinking pretty optimistic, but it was something.
I think that's really important to say, though. Every team needs to have that perspective. Like, we're going to win.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the odds or the preparation, or you guys just are better later in the season. And I applaud that. That's the way it's supposed to be. And it just means you guys were ready. I think you did outplay us. I mean, if all the stats and the deals, you probably would have come
and
out.
historically, Jefferson wins those games.
Yeah.
Historically,
Yeah,
They
it's
just
kind
do.
of what I'm thinking
yeah,
too. Is it
they
just
come up
seems like
with
it's
the
going
win.
to come out of
Yeah.
Right.
this
Yeah,
deal.
you should. Right.
So that's what made it really tough. The
Yeah.
idea that, oh boy, I thought we had it. When it went through, like I say, I thought, oh boy, I cannot believe the odds of that happening.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, Rob did practice the shot quite a bit.
Well, we all have from about the time we're 5 years
Yeah.
old. Here we go. A lot of bloody noses from practicing
Yes.
those shots. Nailing your bud.
Yeah, that's
right. Watch this.
So Steve, I'll take it from under 2 minutes left in the game, the region final game, and Jefferson's up 32-29, and Pat Donahue hits a shot at the top of the key. We were talking
32-29 and there's 2 minutes left
Yes.
in the game?
Yes.
That's pathetic.
We were pushing the ball.
You think defense yeah, we were really getting out ahead.
Quick.
And then Ray Branch comes down and misses a free throw, and there's a timeout left. So there's about 1:14 left. Edina has the ball, and that's when Rob hits a shot on the top of the key to put a dynop for the first time in the game. And you guys take a timeout.
24 seconds.
24 seconds left. Yeah. Do you? You mentioned you don't remember exactly what was said in the huddle, but what was the essence of the message that came from your coaches?
Well, now I think, backing up, we had, what time did we were in the offense when Chris West made that rebound?
That's after this.
That was after
this.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I do know, the only thing I remember about it was the no fouling, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, was the pressure on the ball, to not let anybody rest or get an easy one. You know, make them work for it, and the odds are it's going to come down as a rebound. So, you know, the odds are we're going to get some rebound, or we're going to get the ball again, type of situation if we need to. So, but I don't remember exactly what was said.
Okay.
I have to probably talk to a few more people to start putting it all together from my end of the court.
When you guys scored, when Chris West tipped it in, do you remember anything out of the huddle at that point that was said? These guys had mentioned that Coach Savary had said, let the defense just keep them in front and come back. Nice, soft
Yeah,
2-2.
we're mixing our time a little bit. Just so you know, we scored with 14 seconds left, and you guys went full court in about 11 seconds, culminating with Chris's tip in.
Yeah, okay.
So 3 seconds left in the game. You guys have the lead. What is Coach telling you in the
I would imagine no foul.
no foul? Yeah.
No foul, but I knew to pressure the ball because we figured it's going to take that. You can't get up that quick in 3 seconds. And if you throw a Hail Mary, that's a really risky shot, to try throw it full length of the court. So we figured you're going to dribble it out. And, it kind of, like I say, played into our hand there. We thought we did the right thing. And I think any other time it would have worked. This time it just didn't work.
Yeah.
The idea that, well, you're going to inbound the ball, but you smother the ball as best you can, but don't foul. Don't let them throw a freebie all the way down. It's kind of
Let me take you back, though, to when you guys scored, though, again. Okay, so this is going back a play or two here. So Rob hits the shot at the top of the key. Jefferson takes a timeout. Okay, you guys got to go the full court to score. There was about 14 seconds
14
left.
seconds,
14 seconds left. Okay, what was the message there? Was it get it up as quick as you can? Was there a particular person you were looking for?
Unfortunately, I think that particular person might have been me, because I believe I took the shot at just inside the free throw line, slightly to the left side. 'Cause I remember following the shot, and Chris actually ended up boxing me out. I think I had a crack at it, but he got it. I don't remember if it was a double rebound or what the deal was, but I think I was supposed to make the shot, of course.
There might have been 2 tips.
That's what I'm thinking. I was thinking.
Your shot you missed.
I don't know if I had the rebound, but I had the second to the last shot, and then Chris kind of came up against me and got it and put it in. And I do remember thinking, "You missed? How do you flip and miss that shot?" I do remember that thinking, how disappointing, because I thought that was it. Sure. And then he tipped it in, so I was like, "Well, better than nothing."
Yeah.
So you come running down the other end, and I thought, that's going to be it. So if it turns around, there's no way they're going to get a shot off in that amount of time with any amount of pressure, just to make the guy hesitate. To make you hesitate, so you can't just gun it to an open guy. I thought that's it, and it didn't work. But
So go through the shot by Rob. I mean, where were you standing? Where were you at the time?
that part I do remember. I was under the hoop or probably boxing out, because the shot's got to go up. Otherwise, he's not just going to dribble out of bounds and call it done. So something's coming. And the only thing I thought was, keep these guys off the boards, because if there's still time, he's just going to tip it in. If it's an air ball, I'm figuring it's got to be an air ball or something coming. So I believe I was just behind it. I was actually below the rim when it went through. So I'm somewhere boxing out, but I don't remember a whole lot of traffic there. So I don't know if these guys went wide or gave it up, but they come in for a rebound, and then they're kind of boxed out, and they end up blending to the side thinking, that's it. The buzzer's off, basically, and it's in the air. So I remember him fading that way, and I remember it not being a great shot, meaning it wasn't this squared-up shot with time. He was defended, and he's headed towards the line, just coming up to half court, almost headed out of bounds, and then the shot goes up. And literally right when it left his hand, I knew that ball was going in. And so I was underneath the rim, and I saw, here it comes, and I thought for that split second, well, do I goaltend and hope for chaos amongst the refs, thinking that what the heck just happened, or whatever, what can I do? And I thought, there's nothing, and swish, it drops through, and I believe I caught the ball and then just dropped it on the ground and thought, and we knew it was well within time because it had such a long flight time. It wasn't like, well, replay, let's check the buzzer, what's going on? It was like, no, that was clean.
It's interesting you mentioned boxing out on that shot because in the NCAA finals that year is when Derek Wittenberg took that long bomb shot.
That's right.
And they didn't box out, but I think it was Thurl Bailey or whoever that ended up dunking it.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Off like an air ball.
Right,
shot.
yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, is that if he just tosses it up and you stand there, these guys are going to come in and just
Right.
and drop it in right at the buzzer. So I do remember, making sure you don't get another chance.
Yeah.
And the shot's got to go up. It's so short a time. There's no time for any other shenanigans, calling a timeout or what else can we do, or throw it off his leg out of bounds. That ain't going to do it. You've got to get the shot off. And he threw it up right where we figured. I figured he'd throw it up a few steps earlier, so to speak, in my mind. I was just thinking, well, it's going to come from back over there, but there's no way he's going to hit this. I mean, this is what it's going to be. And swish. So
Remember this picture?
Yes, this is the one I remember right here.
That's my brother.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And I remember, sitting back against there thinking, that's it. And and that picture, I do remember the picture. So the picture does go along with the emotion, so it remembers. It's kind of like a scent or something that you have when you're younger. It may not be good or bad, but you remember, oh yeah.
More skunk-like, probably.
Yeah.
that's how classy the rivalry was.
Yeah.
We really,
Yeah.
I think we respected.
Yeah,
each
I
team
would say that's
respected
true. I
each
do
other.
remember that. It sounds kind of cornball, or I'm not going to hold your hand and sing Kumbaya, but I mean, it's like, it truly was. It was like, you know what, if we weren't that kind of rival, I mean, I think we would have been friends. I think we were a lot alike in general, because there wasn't, you get this image of what it's like today, of you're just rivals to the death. And I don't think it was that way. I truly just wanted to
agree.
win.
Yeah.
But I didn't wish anybody ill health. It never crossed your mind to do anything dirty or sneaky or trip or anything like this, or send the ball right back in his face or nothing. It was just, I want to beat him straight up.
Yeah.
I just want to win. And so and I do remember that, because I don't feel like you get that emotion a lot of times today. Everyone develops this hate. That's my feeling of it. It may not be. I don't know nothing. When I left the game, which wasn't very long after that, I'm not a gym rat or anything, the opposite of you, the ultimate gym rat.
I used to live in these gyms.
zones.
You
So,
guys are practicing. I'd be out here shooting around.
Yeah, this ratty kid around the corner all those years, And but I do remember that it was a great rivalry in all
Amen. Yes,
senses
it was.
of the word.
I think it was a reflection on the coaching we had, though, too. I think that's the way Bob
Yeah,
Savory was our coach, and Jack. They
Yeah.
both reflected that
I think so.
class. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good programs and all that. I mean, it was a great time to be, I guess, a Jaguar, in my side of the
right.
thing, and I don't know if they pack the house anymore or not, but it was big back then. Even on other games, you still filled your stadiums, or still filled the stands.
Yeah.
Well, it seemed like, every year Jefferson had a good team. They were good every year.
think so.
And Edina, we did a lot of this. We'd have a good team, and then we'd be off for about 5 years and a good team. And
Everyone was playing hockey.
yeah, that's it. That's right. And you guys just constantly would reload. Just keep
It
reloading.
would, because even
Players-
prior to me, or when you were even younger, but you watched all those years in the stands, they were always in the running. Under your dad and Evans, they were always in the hunt.
Well,
Never
I would say
completely
it helps to have a family named Lynch.
Yeah.
With like 9 kids that just keep going on and on and play a little basketball.
Yeah, it does help.
It's a pretty good
And the
run.
keys to the gym.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I live right across the street.
In those days, you don't get the keys. In those days, it was tough. You couldn't find gyms to play in. Now the kids.
That's
get all the
amazing
time in
that
the
we had, let's just say when I was in high school, that we were winning state championships because we couldn't get into our own gym. I used to come sneak in this gym, climb down the bleachers.
Yeah, if there was a crack big enough, we'd shove your butt through there.
Right. And then I would open the door and then turn on, there was one light. And then when the door would open, the janitor might kind of, what's going on there? I'd pick up the ball and head over to the bleachers. And then when he'd leave, I'd go back out. It's amazing that we had that much success, considering we couldn't even use our own gym.
Yeah.
We were sneaking into Normandale.
Yeah.
There was a door down at Normandale College where it was
Side
locked,
door.
but if you yanked it hard enough, it would just open up. And I'm sneaking. And then,